What?
Catch Gurl
Our
TauX
TV die?
every day. Follow socials, here's the way.
GurlTauX. Every platform come to play. Catch our vibe, don't delay.
Facebook, YouTube streams. Scrolling through your daily memes. Gurl TauX Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Gurl TauX is all about. Keeping it real, it's what we do. So tune in now and join our crew. Lights moving through the screen, click subscribe, don't be neat. Upbeat chatter, it's our routine. Gurl TauX Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Gurl TauX is all about. GurlTauX is who we are. Come hang with us on your tablet, phone, or screen. Anywhere Gurl TauX can be seen. Gurl TauX Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Gurl TauX is all about. Update stories, laugh and cry. It's Gurl TauX, so don't question why. It's the show that you'll adore. Come back daily to get some more. Gurl TauX Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Gurl TauX is all about. GurlTauX is who we are. Come hang with us on your tablet, phone, or screen. Anywhere Gurl TauX can be seen. Gurl TauX Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Gurl TauX is all about. GurlTauX, log in now, watch our show. Likes and comments, let them flow. Every day we're on our way. Gurl TauX Show is here to stay. Gurl TauX Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Gurl TauX is all about.
Hello, hello, hello. We are
Good
here.
morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Wonderful. How are you this morning?
I am good. I am just awake and ready to go on this journey. And that camera is completely wrong. Just so you know. Anyway, good morning. We have more to talk about because we didn't do all the catching up we probably need to do, and I don't know. I'm going to make a mess here probably. Let me move my coffee so that I don't dump it on myself. Good morning. How is everybody doing this morning? I hope everybody is doing well. And I have to say, it has been quite interesting lately that we've done a lot of changes and done a lot of things. So that is so weird. I changed this, but it's not changing it. I'm trying to change something on the cameras, and it's not exactly doing what I want it to do. I don't know where that one is on here. I can't see it.
Well, don't you want to take box control and change box 2 to like camera 3?
Is that camera 3?
3.
Oh, box 2 should be camera 3. That's probably what I did wrong.
That would
There we go.
That would probably get you closer to what you were looking for.
Yeah. Okay. So, and you're still a little dark, but that's okay.
Yeah,
and we'll figure it out as we go. Anyway, I sound really loud. Really loud. It could be my headphones are really loud.
It's just your headphones.
Why is it when we go to get on here, all of a sudden I have...
Because you're not talking enough beforehand.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the cream in my coffee. It's gunking up my throat. I don't know.
Maybe it's just not enough coffee.
It's definitely not enough coffee. There's never enough coffee, is there?
No, there's no such thing as too much coffee.
Well,
ever.
And the worst part is I have had to change. Sorry, my eyes are not that great, so I had to like duck down to read what was on the screen. But I've had to go and change my drinking habits with the coffee because it's a diuretic kind of thing, and with bladder issues and going pee all the time, I couldn't do that. So I ended up where I've reduced myself down to 1 cup of coffee a day.
Couldn't do it.
And occasionally I'll have a second cup sometimes in the middle of the day or something. Or if we go to town and we go to Scooters or whatever.
Yeah, go to one of those places.
I might get a coffee then.
Something.
But generally speaking, I only have 1 cup of coffee now, which has actually been helpful. Seriously. Is that your phone?
Yeah, I was just putting it over so I can watch to see if there's any comments or anything that come up on the Facebook feed.
On the Facebook feed. Okay,
Yeah.
That's good. Because yesterday, I do have to say, are you able to see yesterday's real quick? Like go to it without volume and just look at the comments. Because we did have, Donna did comment on there, and I wanna just say thank you for commenting. We don't have to really worry about it, but thank you for commenting. And you're right, when we were talking about Trump saving, the puppies, or drowning mother and her children and the puppies, the news were reported, look at Trump jump in to drown them.
Right, exactly, yeah.
So she is correct that they, rather than it being any possibility of being positive.
Yeah, Donna was saying, or they will say he tried to drown them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And yeah, hi Donna. Tori misses you greatly. We definitely we're just kind of getting something going when you moved, and with all the artwork that the two of you had in common.
Yeah, and by the way,
that,
Donna,
the other Donna.
Oh, Donna, this is not you. This is a different Donna.
Yeah, that nothing than causing some confusion.
Right. She's gonna be like, I didn't message, I didn't say anything. So anyway, I think it's important to, we're going to talk a little bit about, like, there's been a lot that has happened, but not a lot at the same time. Like, does that make sense? Because it's been a while since I've been on.
Yeah. Yeah, it has.
And there have been some changes. I don't know if you can see it in my face, but I'm not standing, so you can't see any change there. And I don't know how many people saw me standing on the show before in the first place.
Right.
But I have lost 60 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's actually just slightly under there, but I'm rounding it in my favor.
Of course.
I'm going to round it up in my favor. So I've lost some weight. I've not really gone on a diet so much as a lifestyle change. I'm not really drinking soda anymore. I have it once in a great while, like when we go out to eat somewhere or something. I had it for lunch yesterday, but I didn't even finish one thing of soda. And it's really kind of sweet to me now, so I don't even really like it that much. I like it at first, like the very beginning of it, and then I'm like, I don't really want any more of this. I don't eat very much because I've never really ate very much, but it's more what we're eating. We're eating much healthier. We have a day that we need to talk about the home food delivery. I don't know. We could talk about it now. But we have succumbed to doing the different food deliveries like Home Chef. We've only done 3. We did Home Chef. What was the first one? Long time ago.
I don't even remember what that was.
That was a different brand. Anyway, it sucked. The food in that one were horrible. In the Home Chef, we really did like the food that was in Home Chef. However, we work so much, and when Steve was still working at his job, he got off work, came home, and then we would go out to the shop if we had stuff that I needed his help with. And now we've been getting busier and busier with the business that we've been at the shop quite a bit. And Steve is now turned into me because he loses track of time.
Yeah, when you're out there working, you're in it, and that's where your mind is at, and you're not sitting there looking at time or anything like that. And we don't have any clocks plastered across the shop either.
No.
So, you don't necessarily know what it is because you're not outside. You're in the shop and keeping everything closed because it's hot out. It was 90 degrees yesterday.
Yeah.
And so you're keeping things closed so you kind of control the temperature and stuff as much as possible. And
we both get working. We
Yeah.
get busy doing what we're doing. And, I know when to take the dogs out and take them for a quick walk around the building and go potty. And I'll do that. Steve forgets to do that sometimes.
Well, and a lot of times because they're generally in the office with you
me.
and I'm out there in our shop, we have what we call the clean side, the dirty side. And, the clean side is where, more of the printing goes and the resin work with, the UV resins and stuff like that. Stuff that can't
The
really
regular
get,
resin, UV resin, the UV printer.
Yeah, you can't get a lot of the dust and dirt and sawdust and everything else. And
Right.
the dirty side is where we work those things,
Yeah.
That's where the sawdust goes and you have all that stuff is over on the dirty side. We try to keep things as much as possible. So the dogs are generally in with you because they don't like the air tools.
Oh, they hate the air tool.
They don't even like some of the, battery powered
Yeah.
nailers and stuff like that. They don't like that stuff.
They get a little bit out of shape over that. So needless to say, they'll get up and start wandering around a little bit. And I'm like, I think they want to go outside. But we take them out. And if they don't do anything, I don't do anything. I just keep working, and I'm in and out of the office constantly. I have, I'll do some of the design work that I'm doing on the computer. And then I got to go out to a printer or, and I have paint stations and I have the UV station and, so I go to different areas to work. I don't do everything in one spot. And the dogs and cats are chasing each other. If you heard that, sorry. But we have a lot of stuff going on. So we lose track of time. The whole point of this is that we realized we were really losing track of time. Mm-hmm. And we try to have dinner somewhere around 6:30. And now in our house, when we are behind, or say we go to town and we do something, we say when we get home that we have filed complaints.
We have complaints filed against us.
We have complaints filed against us from the cats
dogs.
or the dogs or whatever because they haven't been fed on time or whatever it is. Or they didn't. For the cats, we get a...
Yeah, that was you somewhere.
Yep. Oh, it's over here. We get complaints on a regular daily basis now from Kevin because we won't let him out on the porch because
he's our little escape artist.
Yeah, he's our little escape artist, and he is a cat that wants to be outside as much as possible, but we're not going to allow that to happen. He does come back when we start calling. He does go. So he must not be going far.
No, I don't think he is.
But I don't want him out. You know, I mean, it's for his safety.
There's too much wildlife around.
So anyway, I've seen, and I'm sure you've seen, we've all seen the videos and the Facebook ads and the ads and the ads and everywhere you go, there's an ad for the sous vide, and that's the kitchen robot.
Right.
Now there's two of them. The other one is Tovul or something like that. I don't remember what the name of it is. But, excuse you, I went with he's trying to get his toy. There you go. Get your toy. We went with the sous vide because the sous vide, actually, when you set it, you put your food in and you scan it and it knows what meal it's going to cook, and you set what time you want it, and then it keeps everything cold until it's time to start cooking.
Right.
And then it automatically starts the cooking process at the right time so that it's ready. And I would say the accuracy is not 100%.
No,
you know,
but it's
within 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean,
you know, there's been times where it says 6 o'clock, and at 6 o'clock it still says it has 18 minutes. So, you know, every now and then it's not exact, but it's close enough. It fits within our 6:30 time frame. So it's for that it works really well.
right.
However, the home chef, the food is sent, and you have to prep it.
Yeah,
you
you
have
still
to
have
get.
to do all
You
the
don't just open it up
Yeah.
and throw it in the pan. Sous vide is all frozen food. It's all been prepped. If there's cutting to be done, it's all been done, and the sauces or whatever are all frozen. They're not in individual packets that you got to put together and stir up or any of that. The vegetables are frozen. The meats are frozen. They might be pre-seasoned. You just put it in the pan and turn it on.
Set it for the
And
time
I
you want,
really
let it
love
go.
its features. I love that you can just scan it, set what time you want it, and let it do its thing. It overcooks the broccoli. The broccoli is always kind of soggy.
What you did yesterday was a lot better.
What I did yesterday was perfect because it didn't sit in water. That's why I did that. I put it in the whatever you want to call that part of the pan.
A little
Screen mesh thing.
screen
Yeah,
tray.
tray. So I put it up, and it was next to the heat, so it kind of like gave a little broil to the top. But what would you say on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the best on the food for the sous vide?
I don't like the quality nearly as much. I'm going to give it like a 2 or a 3. I mean,
I go with 2.
It's decent.
Well,
but
there's
it's
other
not-
things that make it a 2 for me. Like it would be a 3 because the food doesn't taste bad. Actually, there's a couple of them that are really good. What drops it down to a 2 for me is like there's only 3 vegetables they ever include.
Oh yeah.
And it's peas, which I hate. It's green beans or broccoli. And occasionally there's asparagus, but they're little cut pieces of asparagus. They're not a piece of asparagus.
Right.
So there's that. And everything is frozen, which I don't care for that much. I would prefer it to be fresher. Home chef, everything comes fresh.
Yeah.
And
With the exception of the meats are, again, it's portioned out and they're
yeah.
frozen. But I mean, that's the only way you're going to get
Well,
them to.
you got to
last.
save the food too and put it in the fridge. So we have been doing that, and that has been great because when we're done working, you know, like last night, I said, we're 15 minutes late. It's time to go. And we had our dinner set at 6:30. Well, no, that wasn't last night. That was the night before.
Yeah.
The night before, our dinner was set for 6:30. I noticed at 6:40 48 or something that we were already past. So I was like, we got to go. Steve finished up. I went to the house and we got going with dinner. And by that time, the cats and the dogs are all like, it's past my dinner time.
They're already filing complaints being like, you're late, folks.
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah,
Let's go.
exactly. So last night I left early and went because we hadn't remembered to prep a meal. So now we're going to try to, I know there's a sous vide group that I belong to on Facebook and a lot of people sharing their own recipes, and you can put your own food in there and set the timer and tell it how you want it to cook. So we're going to start trying to do that. We may go back to the home chef as far as the food delivery because we really do like the kits.
Yeah, the kits are good. The quality, I think, is
the quality
so much
is like
better.
Way better. And the variety, I think, is better. Like, I don't just want peas or peas. Like, especially when you hate peas.
Yeah.
And I understand there's only so much, but that's not the way it is with Home Chef. Home Chef has such a variety. And you're able to get all those flavors. You don't get as much flavor out of frozen food, especially vegetables, because they're generally frozen with no seasonings, nothing in them. I think their sauces for sous vide are pretty boring.
Yeah, they're pretty basic.
And here's the thing, though. My husband, I love you dearly. I'm not trying to throw you under the bus, but here comes the bus. Wah, wah. Steve is a very analytical person. So the directions are the directions are the directions. The recipe is the recipe is the recipe. And I keep telling him over and over because he's looking at it when he came back last night. He's like, but this. And I'm like, I'm not following the recipe. I'm doing my own thing. Like, you can put the food in there. You don't have to necessarily follow the recipe to the T. You don't have to do that quite that. Hi,
Mr.
Kitty.
Keith.
Hi, Keith. Yeah. So, by the way, you can figure it out on your own if you know my politics at all. I'm very disappointed with them. But anyway, our cats' names are Kevin and Keith. So, if you can figure it out, let me know. If you can't, that's fine too. Anyway, so I was thinking about there's things that have been happening with us. Not a lot. Like, you retired. I got on a weight loss journey, and now we're going to start incorporating some exercise that we haven't really been doing. Both of us. Steve's lost some weight too. I tease him because I'm losing a lot more weight, but I've also been working much harder at it. He's just losing because he's working more, I guess. I'm not sure because he hasn't really changed a whole lot on his eating.
No, but I'm just more active.
Yeah, you're more active, but we eat healthy, so it's not like
Before I retired, though, it was a pretty sedentary job. Just sitting at a desk.
Right.
That's not the case anymore. Now it's actually moving and doing stuff and keeping busy. So
exactly. So what do you think? What do you think about the things that are going on? I'm gonna turn that off so nobody will hear it. Think about the Spencer Pratt videos in Hollywood.
Right now, the way the world is,
I shouldn't say Hollywood, but LA.
LA. Right now, the main thing you got to look at is you need to grab someone's attention. And just going on there and your face and talking, if somebody's flipping through, they're not going to see that. They don't really care. You can talk till you're blue in the face.
Right.
You have to get someone's attention. And I think that's what he's doing. He's getting attention. And then if you've never really looked into the issues that they're talking about, you may actually go and do a little bit of looking and researching and seeing what's going on.
Well, and there's a lot of people nationwide that have no interest in LA, and I don't mean they're not interested, but they have no interest. They're not
Right.
invested.
They're not
They don't live there. They have
exactly.
no. They might like it. They might have never been there, but you can support him if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
You can donate, whatever to his campaign. So getting national attention is good. Also getting the national attention to where you get on other podcasts and other shows to get the voice out there, because there's a lot of Hollywood people, LA people, regular LA people that have left LA, but they still have an interest in LA.
They may still have relatives or somebody like that in LA, so there's still...
And Southern Californians in general are going to have an interest, because if you can get it started in LA and it works, it's going to grow.
Have influence. Yeah.
It'll have that influence exactly
on the surrounding areas. Absolutely.
Right. Because my brother lives in Southern California, and my niece, my sister-in-law, other family, my cousins, because I'm a California girl. So I have an interest.
Right.
Because I grew up, my aunt lives in Anaheim. She lives like two blocks or two miles or something from Disneyland. Been to Disneyland a gazillion times. I hate going to LA now because of how bad LA is. It is really horrible. So, for those reasons, yeah, it's ugly. And but I have a vested interest in watching and seeing what happens, because I would love to go back again. I drove through there back in May of last year. We put my best friend in Lake Tahoe, and then I decided on my trip home, instead of just jumping on the interstate and just heading straight home, that I was going to take a hiatus, and I was going to drive through the PCH as far as I could. I knew it was probably going to be shut down before you got into the LA area, and Malibu or whatever. And I got there like 2 days, one day after they had opened up that section of the PCH.
Right.
So I was literally able to drive right through the Palisades, right through, not in the upper, because you couldn't go up there. They had cops at every street. But I was able to go right through there. And I put my camera on and I took some video. I think I even have some, if you give me just a moment to look. I showed you some of those videos, and you've seen some online. What are your thoughts when you see that as a firefighter?
With my background and again, we talked a little bit yesterday. I did aircraft firefighting for the Marine Corps, but I did wildland fire for 4 seasons with the Forest Service. I was down in northern LA area for the Crown Fire, and to watch how the fire moves and the total devastation that it can cause. The videos that I saw that you shot as you were driving through there are what we always called moonscape. I mean, it got to the point where it was so total.
Explain that.
It was so total that all you had left was the kind of that soft, ashy surface. That's all that was left. What you would expect, kind of based off of, photos that you've seen from the moon landing and stuff, where the ground is just, there's nothing left. There's no green. It's just gray. It's just ash. It's just an absolute, total devastation. And that's exactly kind of what I expected to see. And that's what you really had shown when we were looking at the videos that you'd shot.
Yeah, exactly. I do have it. I'm going to pull it up right now so we can share that part of it. But it to me, it was absolutely devastating, especially coming as a California native and being from there. Not, seeing that, seeing that myself was horrific, and it made me so sad to see that kind of thing. It makes it so hard because we see it from very similar to, what's the best way I can explain it? Similar to people from 9/11. In 9/11, people saw it from almost like a spectator sport. Like when you're watching football, you're watching sports, you're watching a concert on TV, you're watching it, so it's not really real. So you don't feel the effects of it, you don't smell the air from it, you don't see the devastation from it. So you're disconnected.
Yeah, and you're looking at it from a specific lens that somebody else is presenting. It's not your view. It's not your lens. It's what somebody else saw. And like you said, you don't have the sounds. You don't have the smells. All you can do is see it, but it's not, to the point where you can actually look at it from a different perspective, where you can turn your head and see a different piece. You see what they were looking at, and that's all you see, and you don't smell or you don't hear anything. So there's differences in what you got.
And there is so much different when you've seen it yourself, especially if it's closer to the time frame that it happened. This wasn't that long after it had happened, so it was pretty horrific. So I'm going to play that now. Hopefully you can see this okay over here. Let me start. I don't know if there's any sound to it or not. I think it's just me driving. I don't know if I do any talking.
Yeah, I don't remember you having any actual talking. I think there were a couple comments that you'd made as
but
you're
you
driving
can
through.
still see the burned out cars. This is the water's edge, because obviously I couldn't go up into the streets where the home,
right?
the other homes
you were
are
confined to PCH, and that was it.
Yeah, I was confined to the ocean side, but you can see it's just place after place is just completely devastated. Some burned down cars. So I do a little talking, but not much. Like, they haven't even removed the cars. And when you get down to a certain section down here, you can see there's, probably 20 RVs of people and the sad part is that there are a lot of people. I'm just going to talk while this is going on. You can watch. A lot of people, they automatically assume. Yeah. So you hear me talking about, now you can see some that were fine, and then it's 1, 2, burn a few, 3, 4, burn some more, like, it's not every building and every house, but it's a very large majority.
Right.
But, it's something that Spencer Pratt has talked about and other people have discussed and brought up, is a lot of people go, well, it's a bunch of elite celebrity, Hollywood celebrities. And it's not like the mobile home park that burned down, everyone in there. Do you think celebrities lived in a mobile home park?
No, they weren't there at all.
And a bunch of rich people in a mobile home park? No. And some of those homes, they had been bought by people that were now in their 90s, still living in their home, and they had bought them back in, 1958 or something.
Exactly.
And yes, there were celebrities there. Yes, there were a lot of rich people there, but there were also a lot of regular people that they have money in the essence of anyone who lives in the Palisades, anyone who lives in Malibu, anyone who lives, even if they're old, old school people living in that area. They have money. Yes.
Well, and it's not that they have value in what they own.
Well,
Because
yes, but
their houses
I mean,
now-
people that live in Southern California, for the most part, are well known to have a little bit, especially if they live in the nicer parts of LA. They have a little bit more money than, say, the person that lives in the dusty New Mexico, Oklahoma.
Right.
I said there was a staircase just laying there.
Yeah.
It was a really cool looking spiral staircase, and it was just laying on its side because the rest of the house burnt down, and
gone.
that's probably where it fell and landed. And so this is so soon.
But even the ones that didn't burn down, a lot of them are still not able to be inhabited because there was so much smoke and so much that came through that caused a great need for a lot of work to be done on the houses just to clean them up to make it to where you could actually go back and inhabit the house.
Yeah, exactly. Now, this is a parking lot area that you can see. There is a bunch of work trucks and a bunch of trucks getting ready to do a lot of work, but then you start seeing RVs and stuff like that. So what I'm getting at there is there's a lot of people who just think it's like not that big a deal. And why do we care? We care because it only starts in one place. And there's a lot of rumors, there's a lot of conspiracy theories and all the stuff that goes along with it, that this was done intentionally. This was done intentionally for a land grab, like they did, like a lot of people believe they did in Hawaii, because you can make multi-housing for people and, make 9-story apartment complexes and, land grab. And because of the fact that in January, before this happened, almost every single home in there lost their homeowner's insurance. Without warning, without notice, they got a letter that said your insurance has been shut off. And many people, I know Spencer Pratt was one of them, and he talks about it, and he said, basically it happened to them, and they were notified, and the fire happened literally so soon after that they didn't even have time to, they were already starting to look for insurance, or they were working on. And I know some of the people have come forward and said, we were trying to get insurance and no one would insure us because, and this is when it falls to the governor, because you had people that, what am I trying to say? You have leadership. That's what I'm trying to say. You have leadership who allowed the things to happen, allowed them not to be cleaning up, allowed environmentalists to dictate whether you clean up the brush, whether you have fire breaks, whether you have water in the reservoirs, you have people in leadership that allowed those things to happen that caused the fire. There was a fire in Palisades a week prior to this massive fire.
I was in the park.
And you stop licking. And they left it still smoldering. Now, as a firefighter, and there have been a few firefighters that have come forward, but most of them won't say anything, won't come forward because they don't want to lose their jobs. Mm-hmm. So when you have a fire and it's still smoldering a week later, did they get the fire all the way out?
No, we had a policy, and again, different agencies have different policies. The policy we had with Forest Services, we would go back 3 consecutive days afterwards. And if on the 3rd day there were still smokes, it still wasn't out, we'd still come back the next day. So if you had something smoking within the fire confines, now granted, with a small fire, it is, if there's no smokes, it's out. With a huge fire, generally is, if there is no smokes within so much of a fire lines, then yeah, you're good. It's the fire's out. But from the sounds of it, it was a fairly small area because it was in a state park, and it still had smoke and stuff in it. So that was obviously an issue that should have been addressed. You know, one thing I want to get back to is they keep talking about how Spencer Pratt made the comment of, "This is where I live," and it was in the trailer. And then everybody have backlash saying, "Well, you're not living there. You're not staying there." My piece of that would be, you need to look at, where is he registered to vote? Where is his property at that he owns? That is where if he owns no other property anywhere else, that's where he lives. That is his home of record. That is his place where he's registered. I'm sure the address on his driver's license is that address. That's where he lives.
Exactly. Well, and I find it rather funny when they have that that statement of, they're trying to play on his words that you said, "This is where I live." Okay, maybe he did use the wrong words, but he didn't say sleep. He said, "This is where I live." Now, he should have said, "This is my residence."
Right. Because that would have been very accurate.
That would have been very accurate, because live is their way of getting him for, you don't live there. You're not staying there, so therefore you don't live there. Now, granted, it did take him months. Now, he's done a couple interviews since then talking about that and the fact that why he even has a trailer there. Yeah, okay, Kat. We'll just take a picture of your butt. But why he had to do it in the first place, and it's because he went to register to run in the mayoral race, and he couldn't register because he didn't have a dwelling at his residence. So he had to get a dwelling and put it there. So he got a trailer, and he lives there. It's like our house. If we leave and we go on vacation somewhere, we still live here. Right. This is still our house.
Even though we're staying at a hotel or somewhere else, we still live there. This is still where we live.
I'm sorry, here. People. My cat, he's in front of both the cameras, literally. He's so interested in what's on the screen. He's going to probably start batting my computer screen here in a minute. But he's so interested in it. It's super cute. So he still lives there. And I felt like it was really disingenuous for TMZ to be like, but You don't really. What are they? The cheerleaders and spokesperson for Mayor Bass or something?
I'm a little bit disappointed that you're going to take somebody who had obviously a major catastrophe drastically negatively impact them, and you're going to go after them for semantics. You're saying, well, you don't live there. Well, wait a second. It's not that you don't live there. You do live there. You just cannot sleep there because you don't have a residence. And that's exactly what he kept saying. I don't have a house. It's because they let it burn. Well, they didn't let the water flow. They didn't have the resources that they needed.
Exactly.
I do feel that there is responsibility within the LA leadership that they needed to take for this fire that they didn't do. The messages that we saw from some of the fire chief and the assistant chief and some of those things.
Yeah, like you want somebody that comes to your house that looks like you. No, the fuck I don't.
No.
I'm sorry. I do not want, and I've lost 60 pounds, but I'm still 220 pounds. I still have walking issues sometimes. My back is still messed up. My legs hurt sometimes. I am 55 years old. I'm a grandmother. I'm a mother. I'm old. I'm broken. I'm not what I was when I was 30, when I was in the military, when I worked in, these things. I am not that person anymore. So no, I do not want a 55-year-old 220-pound woman who's broken down coming to my house and I get what she was saying is, if you're gay, you want to see people that are like, no, you don't. Nobody gives a rat's ass who shows up at the door. They don't go, oh, you're not black, you can't come in and help me. Oh, you're not gay, you can't come. Before you come in and do CPR on my dying mother, are you gay? Nobody does that.
No, you want somebody who is qualified and skilled and practiced and is capable
and can do the job. And don't you dare tell me that the reason you can't carry me out is that I put myself in a bad situation.
Oh, that comment was absolutely ridiculous.
That was absolutely
You put yourself
insane.
in a bad spot. I'm sorry. Your job in emergency services is to provide assistance to all who need assistance at their time of need. And if you can't do that, and if your response is, well, they put themselves in a bad spot.
Right.
I'm sorry, that is not an acceptable answer.
Absolutely not. Now, I know Spencer Pratt has been putting a lot of effort into campaigning and doing ads. And he's using AI for a lot of it, which is awesome. And I'm sorry, I like AI. Use it as a tool. It shouldn't replace everything, but use it as a tool. For God's sake, stop that, dog. You're driving me bananas. Use it as a tool, which he is doing. He doesn't have a lot of budget. He doesn't have a lot of money for campaign. So he is using ads and doing these campaigns. So I want to do a real quick. We got about 10, 15 minutes left. Actually, we got 12 minutes left. So we're going to real quick watch some of these videos and we're going to kind of spin through them. Not watch them back to back. We'll watch them and then we'll talk about it real quick and then we'll go to the next one. We have a couple I want to get to. So we may go over by a couple minutes, but not by much. Here we go.
Please, I'm begging you. There's homeless drug addicts in front of the schools. My children aren't safe.
Look, if you were a transgender migrant, I could get you a free pussy.
Let's move the drug addicts closer.
Bass already solved crime. I endorse her.
Please, I just want to rebuild my home. It's been over a year. is a machine. If we want to burn this town to the ground, pull through that!
I feel so close.
You can do it, Spencer!
And of course, it says LA is worth saving. Now, some commentaries that have happened because of that are that it is inciting violence.
Exactly. And, you know, throwing tomatoes is inciting violence.
Well,
okay.
Throwing tomatoes is a long term for you suck.
Right. I mean, you even look at a movie rating system that is out there. One of them is Rotten Tomatoes. How many Rotten Tomatoes does it get? Well, these are the tomatoes that the leadership, and if you notice, it wasn't just the LA mayor. It was the governor. Mm-hmm. It was, you know, Kamala Harris. I mean, it was, you know, multiple people, because they all have a part to play in what's going on within LA in one shape or another. So you need to go through there and identify not everybody is to blame, but there are some, and those that have blame need to take it, and they don't. I definitely think that Spencer Pratt is, again, getting people's attention so that way they actually think about something and they have the ability to look at multiple messages, not just what they've been fed by the current administration.
Right, exactly. Now, after Spencer Pratt did the where did it go? After he did the interview with TMZ about his not living in that house, this was his comeback for that. I thought this was so funny. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Mm-hmm. If you haven't seen this, it's hilarious. What I love about this is every time they say something, he does a clap back.
Yeah, he has a comeback, and if you look at the comebacks that he does, they have relevance. Mm-hmm. That's I was looking for a term, and that's you know, there's relevance. You know, Prince of Bel-Air, yeah, his Airstream, you know, that's what he has as an Airstream sitting on his lot.
And he had to stay in the Bel-Air hotel. That's why he used Bel-Air. I hope he doesn't get sued for using the music, but he did change all the lyrics, and that is allowed supposedly if you do a parody. You know, otherwise he has a lawsuit that he could win because all the Weird Al's parodies.
Oh, exactly. The
have
parodies
been allowed.
have always been allowed.
So now this was his clapback for them bashing him for his Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, apparently. And he doesn't just do interviews. He does some great interviews, and I think they have been really great. And the stuff that he says of how he is going to combat it because he doesn't have the experience. Well, most people that get into any office never had experience.
Not when you first get in there, you never have experience.
Now, he has been getting attacked pretty ruthlessly by a lot of people. And I have to say that it's pretty crazy that they aren't addressing the issues.
No, the only thing they're addressing is him. That's it. They're going straight. He is addressing the issues. He is talking about the homelessness. He is talking about the needles on the street, the drug addicts on the street, the fact that they cannot get anything built because it is taking forever to get permits through and actually get things rolling so they can actually even start to rebuild in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
What do they say? Since this fire, there's been 2 houses that actually have gone through the process.
And I believe only one was already in the process of being built before the fires. So they were already following some of the newer regulations, I guess. And the other one is one that was actually involved in the fire.
Well, right. I mean, a lot of the thing is a lot of these houses.
What I mean by that is not necessarily the only ones that have gotten permits. There's other people who have gotten permits and have started. There's only like one from the fire who has gotten permission to move back into their home.
So that final permit is the occupancy permit.
Right.
And there's only like one who's gotten that. They have building permits, some of them, not all of them, they have building permits, but a lot of these houses.
Some of them are fighting for some money to even try to rebuild.
Right. A lot of these houses were built, back when.
1958 or
and
something.
so on and so forth, where there were not the same codes that are in place that are now. And now that they have to rebuild, now they have to bring them up to current code.
Right.
Well, now you're talking, you have to have sprinkler systems in all of them. You have to have all these other pieces in place.
Whatever those concrete pilings that have to go all the way down. And that costs millions of dollars.
It's so much more expensive than it was for the original house.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we're going to continue with this one real quick here. Let me do that. And so I'm going to go back to what we were talking about before is, he could have changed wording just a little bit by saying, this is my residence. This is where I'm registered to vote. I had to put the Airstream there because I couldn't even register to run for mayor. He could have done a little bit more in that realm, but to clarify in the video, but it also wouldn't have sounded as good in an ad that
right.
This is where where she lives.
Again,
this is where I live.
Again, the legalities are, where are you domiciled as far as the state is concerned? If somebody looks up his address in the state of California, where is that address? It is at that lot. That lot is where he lives legally. Now, the other places, like he said, it's as if somebody went on a month-long vacation somewhere. They don't live wherever they're on vacation. They live back at their home of residence.
Exactly.
That's what he is talking about when he says he lives there. That is his home of residence. That is where he is registered for taxes. That's where he registered to drive, where he registered to vote. Everything is at that residence.
Exactly.
So it's home of record. That is exactly. So everybody.
When you're in the military,
your
home of record, and you can be in the military for 20 years as long as you kept your home of record in Texas or Virginia or wherever you're at. And you could be in California, you could be in Germany, you could be in Timbuktu, which is an actual place. But you could be anywhere except for your home of record. But where do you still vote? You still vote in that state. You still have a driver's license in that state. You still your home of record. Now, obviously, you live in different places other than that, but they would still consider your home of record.
You know, my home of record was Wisconsin. When
And
I
there
got out of the military, they paid for me to move back to Wisconsin because that was my home of record. That's where I went in.
And there are some people who, in the transition phase of getting out of the military before they've even gotten a new house in the place, have registered to run for an office. And they're still technically in the military doing their exits and stuff, and have registered to run for office because they have a home of record.
Yeah.
Just to clarify. Okay, so now he just did this ad. This is called Summer 2026, Pratt Summer. I'm pausing this for 1 second because I find it rather entertaining that he says things. It's comical because it's AI, you know, and a couple of them he had 4 arms, you know, and I think that was intentional. Leave that there because, like, I can do all these things like an octopus or whatever. But I do find it kind of comical that his AI character has definitely got a body that he probably wishes he had. I just had to say that. And I find it also funny that one of the biggest contention locations in the nation for Scientology is in Hollywood. The big blue building and Hollywood Celebrity Center is in, and anyone who slaps back against Scientology is considered an SP. suppressive person.
Okay.
And
Gotcha.
his initials are Spencer
SP,
Pratt,
yeah.
SP. He's a suppressive person. And the law, the mayor, all those people are lockstep with Scientology. So I kind of find that interesting as well. We'll finish this little AI video and then we'll finish up. I like that he's pulling Mark Wahlberg
Right.
out.
The thing, like he says, he does things to get your attention, and that's the big thing. And everything that you're hearing, I'm not hearing anything from the others except for their backlash against Pratt direct.
Maybe we'll continue the same discussion tomorrow because we're out of time. But Karen Bass actually put out a video about why you shouldn't vote for him, that Pratt wants more law enforcement. Pratt doesn't want us to give housing to homeless people. Pratt doesn't want medical for help. Are you kidding? All the stuff that they did in their ad against him endorses him.
Yeah.
Are the things he's saying needs to happen. Now, another thing that happened yesterday is, I don't know if it was yesterday, but I guess Trump came out and said he's thinking about endorsing Spencer Pratt. And people are like, I don't know if that'll help him or hurt him or what, or because he says that he is not any affiliation.
Yeah.
He's not running as a Republican or Democrat. He's not really even running as a, he's registered.
He's registered as a Republican, but he's not saying that he is he's not a Trumper.
He's not MAGA.
He's not MAGA. He's
like, all my friends are Democrats.
He is about common sense.
But what he said that I thought was really brilliant on that level was, he said, the only endorsement I need is from mothers and residents of LA who want the filth. And I mean, I'm not quoting him verbatim, the filth, the drugs, the crime, the safety. That's the endorsement I need.
Right.
I don't need any endorsement from any celebrity. I don't need any endorsement. I need endorsement from people who live here who want to be safe again.
Yeah.
And that, to me, is a great place to end this. It's true no matter where you live, you want to be safe from whatever it is that, if it's the leadership, you want to be. Sometimes you do have to be saved from the leadership because they're doing a bad thing. They're not taking care of their people. I think, and the stuff he brings up is very, very important for people to know, like Karen Bass's background and history. So I think this is going to be a continuation a little bit tomorrow, because I think this is a really good topic and it can continue into other states and other locations as well. Anyway, we are out of here. We're like 10 minutes over. That's not that bad today. But we will see you again tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday. Today is hump day. So we'll see you tomorrow, and have a great day. Thank you so much for being here. Bye, Steve.
Bye, Steve.
Have a great one.
Have a good day.